Chasing this guy, Danny Edwards Jr. Bubba, this car has just been flawless for you over these last few race nights we've been here with these late models.
Yeah, car's been doing really well. It's going to get tougher and tougher. I mean, like I said, we've been on a good run, but I know these guys are they're coming hard. So we're going to need some luck tonight. Keep it out front, hopefully, and we'll see what happens.
All right, Bubba, we'll have fun tonight, man. You and Bubba pretty much really took over the season. I think it's only 6 wins that don't belong to y'all in the entire season out of 16 races. That's got to feel pretty good, but I know you want to get back in Dale Emmons victory lane bad.
Yeah, I mean, we took off at the beginning of the season. He's been taking off this second half. We've had some bad luck, and he's been capitalizing. His car's been the class of the field right now. I thought we might have had something for him, or we caught him. It was a little bit off the second race last week, and then sure enough, bad luck happened again. The alternator went out. So I don't know. We'll see what we got. We've been working on it, trying to get this car back from we had that accident, and I think we're getting close.
There you go. Well, have fun tonight, my friend. You ready to go tonight, though, man? This car, you said it feels just about exactly like it did for the Hampton Heat. You had a very fast car that just had engine troubles that night.
Yeah, that kind of sucked for us at the Hampton Heat. We had a really good car, and it's a shame the motor let go. I felt like I was in a really good position to save my tires and be there at the end. But hopefully we can come out on top tonight. I feel like we have just as strong as the cars we did then, and can't be more proud of my team and Paul Green and G2 Inc. and Simpson Racing Products. So hopefully I can put this thing in victory lane twice tonight.
I tell you what, buddy, you get those couple of runner-up finishes now. It's time to try to look at Dale Emmons victory lane pretty hard.
We're definitely looking at it. We've came up second twice this year to Danny, and last week was probably the closest we've been to him, and just ran him. We ran a good, clean race there with both the Edwards brothers, and I was glad to race like that. It was a lot of fun, and just so close. I got to thank Clark's Racing Engines. They've got me up to the front, and the man above for keeping us safe, and of course my whole team and family. We're going to keep working on it. We're still in the fight. 0 wins, but we're still in the fight.
He's fighting that war for the track championship. Mark Wirtz, definitely the last race out, not exactly what you wanted, but this car's fast again tonight, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a long 2 weeks, but we're trying to recover from last week. That's in the past. So we got our sights set forward with what's in front of us, and we're going to try to make the best of it.
There you go, Mark Wirtz. Man, a few words tonight. He wants to do all the talking with this race car.
This is the ComServe Verizon Wireless late model stock cars at Langley Speedway. The light is out on top of the Toyota Tundra. Sammy, every time we have a week off, man, I can't wait to come back and get this thing underway, especially when the late models come back. And we've got twin 65s tonight. We'll see what they do in the first race. Got that super moon above us here at Langley Speedway in Hampton. For those of you watching on fanschoice.tv, we welcome you. Those listening on the radio, 1490 The Outlaw, thank you for being with us here at Langley Speedway. Green flag is out. Safety clean. And Surf Rider night at the races and the late model stock cars in their first twin 65. Danny Edwards takes the lead and, of course, qualified on the pole just ahead of Greg Edwards. Tyler Hughes back there in that 8. And to the outside, it's Butterbean. Both of those drive. Oh, Tyler gets into Butterbean, spins him around. It's going to bring out the first caution flag. Butterbean and the 8 of Tyler Hughes get together in between turns 1 and 2. And a spin already, Sammy.
Yeah, let's hope this ain't the one of many to come, because Mark Wirtz has got damage on the front of his car. Right there, he's going by right front all pushed in.
Sure is.
So they stacked up there somehow.
Just asking him right now what the car felt like when he pulled back around. So they're just double checking everything in the steering underneath the front of the cars. They had Mike down on the bottom.
After a caution flag, and anybody behind the leader can choose to take it, like Tyler Hughes. He just took it. Casey Wyatt will go to the outside. Any other takers? It is going to be Macy Causey and the 38 teammate.
Yeah, that thing up there in the corner, Mark Wirtz got the worst out of that deal, man. He's got that right front pushed in, but it looks like the opening to his radiator is still clean, which is a good thing for him, because these things draw a lot of heat when that ductwork gets smashed in the front, and it didn't look like he mashed any of that, so he should be all right.
Cody Carlton also chose the cone, the teammate to Macy Causey in the US 1061 machine. Butterbean ineligible for the cone since he was involved in the spin. Green flag is back out. Late model stock car action at Langley Speedway, the first of two twin 65s. Tyler Hughes is going to challenge Danny Edwards for the lead. He gets out of the gas just in the nick of time, and Greg Edwards all over the back bumper. Tyler Hughes in second, Greg Edwards third. Then you got the 55 with a little bit of damage once again, as Sammy said, on that right front. Mark Wirtz, followed by Casey White on the outside, and Connor Hall, the 77 Town Bank machine, down low.
Yeah, where Danny's beating everybody is right in the center of the corner. His car is rotating the center so much better than everybody else's out here. And that's where he picks up a half a car and everybody out. Right dead in the center of the corner. He'll leave him a little bit.
Great battle back there for that fifth position between the 77 and Connor Hall. On the bottom of the racetrack, Casey Wyatt on the outside, and Dean Shiflett watching these two guys out of his windshield. Meanwhile, here goes Greg Edwards, 97.3, the Eagle machine, pushing it down low to the inside of Tyler Hughes. As Connor Hall makes the pass on the 92, and Casey gets back in sixth position. But a great battle for the second spot as Greg Edwards races door to door with Tyler Hughes. Both of these guys with wins, and Greg in second spot. Tyler Hughes hanging right with him, though, right to the back bumper in third spot. Danny Edwards with about 5 car length advantage over Greg. Tyler Hughes, Mark Wirtz, and Connor Hall, the top 5. Danny Edwards in the Danny's Glass machine trying to check away.
Yeah, Mike, and in this first race, these guys really don't want to abuse these tires because they got to have them for the second race. And the people that abuse their tires, it'll all show up in the second race about halfway through. You'll see them start dropping to the back. So these guys really don't want to get hung on the outside too long.
Butterbean is trying to work his way back up through the traffic. Takes a look on the inside of Macy Causey. That is for the 10th position. Macy hangs right with him, but at the exit of turn 2, Butterbean gets the nose of the automobile all the way up to the numbers on the side of the 33 in between turns 3 and 4, and makes the pass at the exit of 4.
She didn't make it easy for him, though. She run right with him, so she's doing a fine job behind the wheel.
Let's go to Buck.
Yeah, just touching on what Sammy was talking about these drivers having to take care of their tires with another race going. You got to wonder how much damage Butterbean's doing driving through the field as hard as he's going. I know he's looking and wondering about points in his head, but he's got to really understand he needs tire management to make sure he's got a car for race number 2.
Just out of his windshield, too, Buck. He's got a hot battle that he was watching there between Clayton Parish and the 38 of Cody Carlton. Cody dropped out of it, though, and Butterbean gets in between those two. 11 laps completed out of 65. Greg Edwards chipping away at the lead that Danny Edwards has in the Danny's Last 26. The Edwards brothers going at it, both with 5 wins this year, battling for the championship, separated by 10 points.
Yeah, we got Mark Wirtz challenging that 8 too, man. He's pulled up a car length on him, so Mark's going to be threatening him here in about 2 or 3 more laps.
So it doesn't look like the damage that he's got is hurting him, huh, Sammy?
No, it doesn't look like it, and it's a good thing for him because he needs these points.
See Casey Wyatt, the 92.9 Wave machine. He bottoms out just a bit. It is Danny Edwards, Greg Edwards, Mark Wirtz, Tyler Hughes, Connor Hall, Casey Wyatt, Dean Shiflett, Clayton Parish, Butterbean, Brendan Queen, and Macy Causey top 10. Then Cody Carlton, Cameron Bowen, Craig Estep, and JT Jackson, Bruce Livingston, 77. "15 laps completed out of 65. Greg Edwards hanging right with his brother, though. Not letting him get away. At least 4 to 5 car lengths possibly. Looks like Greg might be reeling in Danny, or is Danny saving his tires?
I think Danny's got a nice, comfortable lead right now. He's probably he's not abusing his car. He's a smart driver, and he knows what he's got to do. He got 3 or 4 car lengths on him. That's all he has to do. You know, kind of let the guy behind you abuse his car thinking he's catching you, and then he'll wear his stuff out, and then you can kill him in the second race.
So doing a lot of mirror driving as this race goes on, I guess, at lap 17.
Well, you know, he's got somebody on radio telling him, you know, Greg's still got 4 behind you. You know, somebody's telling him what's going on, so he knows he'll be able to turn up the wick a little bit, so he'll be fine.
Cameron Bowen to the inside of Cody Carlton, the 38 US 106.1 machine. And Cameron Bowen trying to make the pass at the exit of 2, and does. Casey Wyatt working over the 77, the town bank ride of Connor Hall trying to hold off Casey. So it doesn't look at this point, Sammy, like those brake issues that Casey Wyatt had are hurting him any at this point, as he once again just about pushes the 77 that time between 3 and 4.
No, they changed everything under the sun, man. They changed 2 master cylinders, 2 brake calipers. We've got a spin up in 2, 3, and 4. Craig Eastep.
Eastep will bring out the caution flag for the second time. Comes out on lap 20. The number 25 machine of Craig Eastep. The second time he's been back in 2015.
Yeah, I'm down here with Craig. He said, don't really know. It just all of a sudden took a right, like something got underneath it. And of course, we said there's fluid coming across the track, and he said it's water. So it looked like it may be like a bottom water hose or something, and it just shot up underneath the right front and shot him straight up the track. So they're double checking and pulling out the nose now to just, take eyeballs on it. But Craig said he's okay. Car's not really hurt all that bad. Just nudged the right front tire up into the concrete just when he went in the corner. She didn't turn.
All right, Buck, and we've got a couple of cars that take the cone. Looks like Mark Wirtz. We got Tyler Hughes, Butterbean. He's eligible for it this time, and also Cody Carlton in the 33. I make that the 38, 33 teammate, Macy Causey. And the Toyota Tundra goes down pit road. We are ready to go racing again for this Twin 65. The first one tonight, the Danny's Class Chevrolet leads the field. Danny Edwards Jr. looking for win number 6 tonight as he leads the points. A little slip by the 55 of Mark Wirtz. That allows Danny's brother Greg to slip back in there into the second spot. And a great battle back here for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, Sammy.
Yeah, it is. Those boys are all running right together, too. Them 4 or 5 cars are tied right together. And you're going to have a good race out of these guys because they'll be like that a few laps.
It is the 77, Connor Hall down on the bottom, the 8 of Tyler Hughes down on the bottom, also behind that number 77. The town bank ride is Casey Wyatt, and to his outside is Butterbean in the 03. And if you think about it, Sammy, all 4 of those guys have had issues with each other this year. We got to watch these guys close. Let's go to Buck.
Yeah, and the 4 guys you're talking about racing each other right now in a top speed pace lap, all qualified less than 4/100ths of a second apart from one another.
They tuck back in line as the 8 of Tyler Hughes will lead that pack of cars we're talking about. Tyler Hughes, Connor Hall, Casey Wyatt, Butterbean. But leading the race is Danny Edwards over Greg Edwards. Mark Wirtz, top 3, and Mark Wirtz looks like he's closing in on the back bumper of Greg for that second spot. Meanwhile, the 77 dives down low, a little bit of a slip for the 38 of Cody Carlton meanwhile. But here goes the 77 again. Connor Hall down low, battling with the 8 of Tyler Hughes.
Yeah, these guys, man, we get up on the outside, they're abusing them tires pretty hard. I mean, you get up there 4 or 5 laps, you're putting a lot of heat in them outside tires. That's probably why Butterbean tucked on in behind Casey, because he don't want to abuse them tires too much this race.
The G2 machine, once again, that's the 8 of Tyler Hughes. He does have a win this year, but Sammy, yes, lap after lap stuck on the outside. And if Connor's able to get by, Casey's going to come with him as he tries to do it now between 3 and 4. Meanwhile.
Yeah, and Butterbean's going to come with Casey. I mean, they're going to freight train him. I mean, better off to take your beating now and fall in a hole somewhere and save them tires.
Tyler Hughes still stuck on the outside. Meanwhile, up front, it's Danny Edwards, Greg Edwards, and all over Greg's back bumper is Mark Wirtz in the Dunkin' Donuts 55.
Boy, Tyler drove that thing deep into 3, man. He picked up a car on him, and he looks like he was going to go by him for a minute, but caught right, the 77 caught right back up with him.
Yeah, Connor Hall says, no, you don't. And he stays right glued to the inside of the 8. That's a battle for 4th position. It's more than a battle between 2 guys for 4th, though, as these guys are all over and on top of each other pretty much. The 8, 77, 92, 03, and the 12 also gets a piece of this action. Dean Shiflett in the 12.
Watch going into 3 and 4 right there. Mark Works picks up a car on Greg, and Greg beats him on the other end.
Great battle once again for that 4th position. Tyler Hughes was able to get out front of these guys, though, but 77 got into his bumper a little bit at the exit of 2, and Casey Wyatt takes advantage of a slip by Connor Hall. He tries to dive underneath and does get a good bite between 3 and 4. Casey Wyatt, he's up to 5th.
Yeah, and after that day they had, they really needed a good run here tonight, so kudos to them, man. They did a good job getting that car back together.
Danny Edwards, Greg Edwards, Mark Wirtz, Tyler Hughes, Casey Wyatt, the top 5. Connor Hall, Brendan Queen, Dean Shiflett, Clayton Parish, Macy Causey in the top 10. Then Cameron Bowen, Cody Carlton, JT Jackson, Bruce Livingston, Craig Estep, Landon Abbott in the 03 backup, the only driver that's out at this point of the race. Good battle heats up again, though, between Connor Hall and the 77. And Butterbean all over his inside. Working that rear quarter panel right up next to him now, makes the pass in between 1 and 2. And Dean Shiflett tries to come with Butterbean.
Yeah, it looks like Connor's car is going away on him a little bit. It wasn't as good as he was the first 10, 15 laps. So looks like he's going away quick. So they might need to make some changes here for the next race.
Danny Edwards with about a 6 car length advantage over his brother Greg in the 2nd spot. Same distance back to the 55 Dunkin' Donuts ride of Mark Wirtz. Then it's about a full straightaway back to the 8 of Tyler Hughes. And Casey Wyatt about 2.5 car lengths behind Tyler back there in the 5th position in the 92.9 Wave Machine. Then you got the 03 of Butterbean working his way back up through the traffic after that early spin. And a spin right now between turns 1 and 2. 2 cars involved. And is that JT? Looks like JT Jackson.
Yeah, I don't see him out there, so it's got to be his car.
Bruce Livingston in the 77. That was back there in the 13th and 14th position, Buck.
Yeah, Bruce is pulling off now down here, and they must be right on the other side of the fire engineer, but the 77B machine, Bruce Livingston able to pull off. There goes JT. He's got his car refired. So, yeah, those 2 cars.
Danny Edwards, our leader. He has led every lap. Danny's Glass, Smith Marine Electronics, Schaefer Oil Company, Chevrolet. Driver from Pocosin, once again a 5-time Langley Speedway champion. And who's taking the cone, Sammy? Mark Wirtz. He'll be to the outside of Danny. You got Butterbean. You got the 77 of Connor Hall. And is it the 33 and the 38 that will also take the cone? Macy Causey and Cody Carlton. Cody doing a good job in that teammate to Macy in the 38.
Yeah, I believe it. Is this his first late model race?
I think it is this year.
He's doing good for his first race.
Toyota Tundra about to come down pit road, and we'll turn him loose again. Shane Snyder with a green flag in his hand. He will wave it. Green lights come back on. We're back underway for the first Twin 65, celebrating 65 years of racing here at the legendary Langley Speedway in Hampton. And Danny Edwards, one of the legendary drivers out front of his brother Greg, who's battling side by side with Mark Wirtz. These 2 guys with wins this year, and they bump and bang off each other at the exit of 4. Greg Edwards takes over the 2nd spot, and now it looks like Wirtz is going to have his hands full with the 8 and the 03. Tyler Hughes and Butterbean, these 2 got together early in the event. Tyler all over the back end of the 55 of Mark Wirtz, and that is for the 3rd position. Casey Wyatt down to the inside of Butterbean as they will battle for the 5th position. Some good racing here for this first race, Sammy.
Yeah, there is. These guys are going at it hard, man. I'm kind of surprised the way how hard some of them are going at it because they know to keep that car off the outside that they got to save them tires. So we'll see how it works out for all these guys.
Good to see Dean Shiflett back at Langley and running good, too. He's battling with the 77 machine of Connor Hall. The Town Bank right on the outside and Dean Shiflett down low, Moyock, North Carolina driver. Casey Wyatt just ahead. 92.9 The Wave machine with Butterbean. And the Patriot Realty 0-3. 40 laps out of 65, 25 laps to go. Casey White again will battle side by side with Butterbean for that 5th position.
Yeah, Butterbean's really using that car up this first race, man. I'm surprised he has anything left for the second one.
Talking about the tire wear on the outside, you're using it up if you hang out there for too long. Also, you got Dean Shiflett behind Butterbean as he's got the 77 out to his inside. They've reversed roles, and the Town Bank 77 of Connor Hall now to the inside of Dean Shiflett. Macy Causey watching these guys out of her windshield. She might be the one that's saving her tires the most, Sammy.
She might be, but she's doing a good job. She hasn't made any mistakes, and she's hanging right in there, man. She'll try to come out of here with the top 10.
Now, either Greg Edwards is catching the 26 or Danny in the 26 is slowing up a little bit because those cars are getting closer and closer together. But a great race between Casey White and Butterbean as they battle it out for that 5th position, still door to door and wheel to wheel at the exit of turn 2. Butterbean caught on the outside, can't find a way to get down in front of Casey. And now he does. You know, I don't think Casey wanted to abuse his car either.
No, it looked like Casey backed off a little bit, entering 3 right there, and let Butterbean in. You know, Casey knows he's going to be using his tires hard too, but when you're on the bottom like that, you're not using them near as hard as the guy on the outside is.
Looks like Casey's car is getting off the turns a little bit faster than Butterbean. Let's go to Buck.
Yeah, I went down and talked to JT Jackson. He said he's just started feeling ill, so he had pulled down to the bottom of the track and was waving his hand, and I guess Bruce just didn't see it, and then they just got together in 1 and 2. That's what happened there. But I'll tell you one thing, the spotter for the 0-3 needs to go over and definitely tell the 92 spotter thank you so much, because there's been about 3 or 4 times there couldn't have been inches between them that Casey's been very patient with letting the 0-3 go ahead and have the spot. So now they're having a great race down in the 3-go, guys.
And the problem for Butterbean is he had a couple of slips when he got in front of Casey, and Casey took advantage of it, but he's unable to go anywhere. And once Casey gets by, he's going to get freight trained because he is holding up those guys a little bit. If Casey can get by, Connor's going to come. So is the 12 of Dean Shiflett, and 33, and the 5, and the 19 as they stack up behind Casey.
You know, Casey's been running side by side with people out here all year and all last year when they first put that group, when the second group came in.
We got a spin up between 1 and 2. The 5 of Clayton Parish takes a spin. It's going to bring out the caution flag. And that's probably good news for Butterbean and Casey and Connor, because they were getting a little dicey here. And it was a little bit scary to watch, too. I thought one of those guys were going to be the reason for the caution flag, but instead, it is the 5.
Here we go back green, man. We're only going to have about 15 laps left, so these guys are going to have to get up on the wheel for these last 15.
Clayton Parish was up there in 10th position when he had that spin in between 1 and 2. Buck?
Yeah, the 19 car's definitely done a streak all the way probably around the track. The radiator looks like it's completely knocked out in Cameron Bowen's machine.
So I guess it was Cameron that got into the 5.
He caught the left front tire on the 5. That's exactly what happened, guys. As the 5 comes in, I see all the damage right in the door area, so it's been hit right in the left front. So the toe in and all and everything's going to be knocked out on this car, because that's a ton of damage on the front end of the 19 car. And if it matches the damage on this 5, I'm down here now coming up to Cameron Bowen and just nowhere to go. 5 car right in front of you, and looks like a lot of damage to the front of your 19 car.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad because I'm out here running for Rookie of the Points, and you got some dude just logging laps in a backup car, and he can't drive, just spins out all by himself and takes me out. And there goes my chances at Rookie of the Year.
All right, definitely dejected down here for the 19 car. Roger Soria and his team down here for Rick Godovic's bunch checking the car over, but like I said, they're definitely going to have to change the radiator just to run race number 2.
Mark Wirtz, one of the drivers that took the Krispy Kreme cone. He goes to the outside. Also Tyler Hughes in the 8. 77 of Connor Hall. and the 33 of Macy Causey. Those are the only 4 drivers that chose to use the Krispy Kreme cone and go to the outside. As we're about to go back to green flag action, Danny Edwards will lead the field. 49 laps completed out of 65. And back to the green flag. This is where it really gets good, Sammy, those last laps of the race. And we've got them side by side for the second spot as Danny takes off at least 3 car lengths ahead of Greg Edwards and Mark Wirtz in the 55. Mark got a little loose at the exit of 4. Butterbean takes advantage of the slip. He dives underneath to try and take away that third spot for Mark Wirtz. Tyler Hughes watching these 2 guys, then Casey Wyatt, the 92 and the 77 on his outside. Connor Hall, and 50 laps out of 65, make it 51 and 14 laps to go.
Yeah, I'm surprised 15 laps ago that Mark took that cone. He was sitting there in third, you know. It hasn't worked at all, so I'm kind of surprised he took it. He's already back to 5th, so it's really hurting.
Butterbean having a hard time getting through the corners in the middle, and that's stacking up the cars behind him, especially the 8 machine and the 55 as they race door to door. Butterbean slowing up dramatically, though, in the middle of the turns on these drivers, and you see the accordion effect. Tyler Hughes down on the bottom of the racetrack with Butterbean again. They rub and bounce off each other a little bit that time, and now the 55, Mark Wirtz, he dives underneath. Tyler Hughes to try to take away the 4th position. Casey Wyatt back there behind the back bumper of the Dunkin' Donuts machine of Mark Wirtz, just outside the top 5 and 6. Then it's the 12. Dean Shiflett has done an awesome job to be away for as long as he has and to come back in Langley and mix it up with these guys. He's got the 77 of Connor Hall coming underneath.
Yeah, he came out here and practiced that Hampton Heat and said if his car wasn't right, he wasn't going to come out. And he didn't come out, so I guess it wasn't right. And he's been out here practicing the last couple of weeks trying to get it right, and it looks like he has.
As we get down to the end of this one, it is still Danny Edwards in the Danny's Glass 26 Chevrolet out front of his brother, Greg Edwards. Of course, they are separated by 10 points in the championship. And as far as they are on the racetrack, separated by at least 3 to 4, maybe 5 car lengths now. Butterbean back in the 3rd spot, about a half a straightaway behind these 2. And then
I said, Mark's got a good race car there, man. He's about to get Butterbean. Ooh, Tyler Hughes got in the back of him. But, Mark does have a good car, and he's got enough laps to get Butterbean if he can get his bumper up to him.
Tyler Hughes into the back of the 55 of Mark Wirtz, got him loose at the exit of the turn. Mark was able to hang on to it, though, just ahead of these guys, and Tyler got out of the gas enough to let him gather it back up. And once again, Tyler Hughes with 92.9 the Waves machine of Casey Wyatt all over his back bumper now as they battle for the 5th position. Then it's Connor Hall, the 77, and the 12 of Dean Shiflett. Good battle again between Casey Wyatt on the bottom and Tyler Hughes on the outside as they battle for 5th. Door to door now in between turns 1 and 2. Anybody's guess as to who's going to win that battle between those 2. Meanwhile, it's Danny Edwards, Greg Edwards, Brendan Queen, Mark Wirtz, Tyler Hughes, and Casey Wyatt side by side for 5th. Now Casey takes over 5th. Tyler Hughes back to 6th, and Connor Hall, Dean Shiflett, Macy Causey, and Cody Carlton top 10. Bruce Livingston, the 77 11th. Clayton Parish involved in that last mix-up, and he's back there in 12th. And Cameron Bowen, JT Jackson, Craig Estep, Landon Abbott. Butterbean in the 55 for 3rd spot. As we get down to the end of this one, 62 laps coming up in lights. Mark Wirtz doing all he can to gain every single point he can as he closes in on the inside of Butterbean for that 3rd spot. The nose of his car up next to the 03 number in between 3 and 4. Butterbean, Brendan Queen on the outside. White flag about to be displayed to the Danny's Glass Chevrolet of Danny Edwards looking for win number 6 for 2015.
Butterbean needed to get that hole behind Mark. Casey done filled it up now, so Casey will go by him too.
Mark Wirtz makes the pass on Brendan Queen. He's back in the 3rd spot. Butterbean caught on the outside. Casey Wyatt down low as they battle it out. Checkered flag goes out to Danny Edwards. Greg Edwards 2nd spot. Then it's going to be Mark Wirtz in 3rd. And in 4th position, Casey Wyatt. He gets the position over Butterbean in the 03.
Yeah, Casey drove for that one, man. He put that car right dead in the center of that corner and pulled Butterbean a half a car to drive right up under him. He did a tremendous job right there.
That is the kind of race, Sammy, we see on the second Twin 65, but a good race for the first one tonight.
Oh, yeah, you're going to see a lot of guys out here that have used these tires. That 8 was caught on the outside a long time. Butterbean was on the outside a long time. So about halfway through the next race, you're going to see them tires come in.
Danny Edwards wins over Greg Edwards in second. Mark Wirtz, third spot. Casey Wyatt, fourth. Brendan Queen in fifth.
And like you said, 6 points races in a row for the 26 machine. Dale Lemons Victory Lane welcomes back Danny Edwards Jr. And Bubba just picking it up and putting them down, man. I tell you what, they looked like that last half, though. I saw the rear slipping just a tad when you had Greg right on you, but then once you cleared him and got a couple of laps on the car, it looked like the tires just came right back.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as good. Little free on this run, so we had to kind of work for it. You know, I knew them guys were going to be coming. You know, I know my brother's got a fast car, and he just had some misfortune lately, and they're getting it dialed back in too. So we both got fast cars. You know, we're out front, lucky to be out front, and we're going to tune it up a little bit for the second race. We're having a little issue. The engine was blubbering a little bit. I don't know if we got something hung in the carburetor or something, but it was acting kind of funny. So we got to work on that a little bit, make some adjustments for the second race, and see if we can do it again.
There you go. We're going to go around the front of the car, and Stephanie LaPointe, the lead administrator for Safety Clean, is going to be around there to meet you with their 6th piece of hardware. Once again, 6 points races in a row for Danny Edwards Jr., Mike.
Yeah, it ain't bad. We struggle with this thing trying to get it right, and that's why we ain't been over here racing it, because we can't get it the way we want it. And I have enjoyed myself tonight. I was over here talking to Connor, man. We were going at it, you know, and it was a lot of fun. However, we do want to get it a lot better than what it is. We want to be up there doing that with Danny and Greg, and just keep working on this thing. I don't know what else to do to it. I think we've done everything. I might mount a kitchen sink on it next week and see if that helps it, but that's about the only thing we ain't done to it. So.
Well, good job tonight, buddy, so far. Good luck in race number 2.
Thank you.
All right, it's Dean Shiflett, ready for race number 2, buddy?
Oh, yeah, the crew did a good job of adjusting the car for the second race. We've just been one extreme or the other all year, either way too tight or way too loose. And luckily we found loose because we haven't been able to find that all year. And we tightened the car up a little bit, and hopefully we can go get us a top 3 or even a win. I'd like to give a shout-out to my sponsors in Turn 4, Western Branch Diesel. It wouldn't be possible without him.
Yes, sir. We'll have a lot of fun tonight, buddy. He does a great job in his 77 machine and trying to still drive it to the front a little bit more. And Cody Carlton, late model stock cars, top 10 finish first time out the gate, man. That's got to feel pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting it to wear me out like that, but my hat's off to all these guys out here. I mean, they come out here and race every week, and it's real cool to be able to race against these guys and get a top 10 finish out of it. Hopefully we can come home with the car in one piece after this one and just have a good run.
There you go. Well, we can see you again, once again, this wintertime. I was talking about it last night, too. He'll be back in the Arena Series in the Richmond Coliseum. Casey, man, that first race had to feel like he had the cape out after what y'all went through in practice.
Yeah, and we struggled a little bit last race, too, with getting over them bumps. The track threw us for a loop, and we missed it on the setup a little bit, but we thought long and hard about it. And even went out of town and raced and tried to learn a little bit more about the car. And because this is a new car to us, still learning about this car, but we seem to got it turned around, and we're racing towards the front there that first race here. So looking good, looking forward to the second race here.
Yep, great top 5 effort, first time out. And then I was like, oh man, y'all just do late models? And they're like, yeah. And it was just amazing. And they follow everything late model, so it is cool.
Yeah, plus if you want to get a background on some of the drivers, that's the place to go. You can basically search probably most of the drivers out here at Langley Speedway, and you'll find out information you never knew on Race 22.
Yeah, they've stuck to their guns, too. They a lot of other sites started out trying to do that kind of stuff, but they've wavered on to modifieds, and they've wavered on to different stuff. Race 22 stuck to their guns. They're late model stock cars and late models all the way.
All right, well, here we go with the late models. Thank you, Buck. As we get back to the action here, once again, it's going to be Danny Edwards and Greg Edwards to lead the field. Pace truck is in. It is Safety Clean and Surfrider night at the races. We're back underway for the NASCAR Wheeling All-American Racing Series at Langley Speedway. Your ComServe Verizon Wireless late model stock cars, the second 65 lapper as we celebrate 65 years of racing here at this legendary racetrack, Langley Speedway in Hampton. And Danny Edwards out front as we exit turn number 4. Danny Edwards, Greg Edwards, Mark Wirtz, Casey Wyatt. Then a side-by-side battle down the bottom of the racetrack. It's Butterbean, Brendan Queen, the 8 of Tyler Hughes on the outside. Then Connor Hall, the 77, and the 12. Doing a great job tonight, Dean Shiflett. Well, here we go again, Sammy. It's Butterbean this time on the inside of the 8 of Tyler Hughes. They got together on the first race. We're watching them closely on this one as they battle it out just outside the top 4.
Yeah, and both of them guys right there, they ran the outside a long time their last race. And you can see these first 4 cars are pulling away from them.
And also the cars behind them all over the back bumper and eating them up as Connor Hall thought about making it 3 wide that time. Gets back on the back bumper and the tire tracks of Brendan Queen. Casey White all over the back end of the 55 of Mark Wirtz for that 3rd spot. Casey's got a fast car this race.
Yeah, that's good to see, man. After all the problems they had today, they came right back, man, and they're looking for a top 5 run, you know, and it looks like they have a top 5 run in both races.
And Greg Edwards all over the back bumper and eating up Danny Edwards in the 26. Here goes Casey making a move on the inside of Mark Wirtz for that 3rd spot on the back straightaway. The 92.9 The Wave Machine and Casey Wyatt, 3rd spot, just ahead of these guys. It's the 97.3 The Eagle Machine and the Danny's Glass Chevrolet. Danny Edwards leading Greg Edwards, but not by much, Sammy.
No, they're running real close. You know, I don't know if Danny's using everything he's got or not, but they are running real close.
Butterbean still on the inside of Tyler Hughes as they battle it out, and that is for 5th position. The Patriot Realty 03, Brendan Queen.
Yeah, they're running side by side like that. They're taking themselves out of any chance to win, man. They're going to use their tires up.
And Butterbean almost got the 8 into the wall that time at the exit of 2. Danny Edwards leads Greg Edwards, Casey Wyatt, Mark Wirtz, and Tyler Hughes, the top 5. And Greg desperately wants to get a win. He is all over the back end of that 26 of his brother, Danny Edwards. Man, they're running really tight there, Sammy.
Yeah, and it looks like they're about dead equal, too. Danny's got him a little bit through the center, but Greg's got him a little bit on entry.
Also, Mark Wirtz has gotten to the inside of Casey Wyatt. He takes back the 3rd spot from Casey. Meanwhile, Greg Edwards dives on the inside of the 26 of Danny Edwards. Greg Edwards trying to take the lead away, but they're dead even across the line. Halfway past the 26, Greg Edwards with the 97 ahead of the 26. But Danny hanging tough on that outside, but he will get back in line if he can. But he's not giving up on the outside, is he, Sammy?
No, you got to go ahead and use everything you got now, man. This is the last race. We've only got about 50 laps to go, so he's got to go ahead and use that thing up if he's got anything left.
So once again, it's Greg Edwards now who leads over Danny Edwards, 1st and 2nd. 12 laps into the 2nd 65-lapper at Langley Speedway. The Dunkin' Donuts 55, Mark Wirtz, 3rd spot. Casey Wyatt, 4th. And the 8 of Tyler Hughes in the top 5. Then Brendan Queen, the 77, Connor Hall. The 12 of Dean Shiflett. 33, Macy Causey. And the 38 of Cody Carlton. He's in 10th. Then Bruce Livingston, Clayton Parish, and J.T. Jackson. Connor Hall to the inside of Butterbean now. That is for the 6th position. The Town Bank 77 makes the pass. Buck Roos.
Yes, sir, Mike. Just what Sammy touched on in race number 1. You got to conserve for race number 2. We talked about Butterbean having to come from the back of the pack, and Brendan Queen might have wore the goodies off of his Hoosiers in race number 1. He's starting to fade now, and Dean Shiflett's all over the back end of the 03.
Dean Shiflett takes a peek on the inside of Butterbean, as you said, Buck, and looked like he might have a little bit faster race car than Butterbean does at this point. Also, the 8 of Tyler Hughes dives underneath Casey Wyatt. Casey, one of those cars that got caught on the outside a little bit on that first race, too.
Yeah, and that last race, he had a little bit of problem with using that right rear up, and I don't know if they got that problem all the way solved or not, because his car does look like it's freeing up a little bit.
Still pretty strong at the exit of turn 2, but Tyler Hughes is right there with him as he dives underneath, tries to take away that 4th position from Casey Wyatt. The G2 Incorporated, number 8 of Tyler Hughes, does have a win this year. Meanwhile, up front, Greg Edwards about 4.5 car lengths ahead of Danny Edwards. Mark Wirtz in 3rd, Tyler Hughes, then Casey Wyatt, top 5.
Yeah, Greg's getting away from Danny now, though. And, Danny touched on it when he was in victory lane, and it might be his car was stumbling a little bit. So I don't know if they got that problem cured or not, because that could be anything from a little piece of trash in the carburetor to a bad spark plug. It could be at many things. So I don't know if he got that fixed or not, but he's not quite as quick as he was that first race.
Clayton Parish, the Dunkin' Donuts number 5 teammate to Mark Wirtz, heads down pit road and looks like he's going to park it. And he does. Clayton Parish out of this one in the 5A. 20 laps completed out of 65. Good battle between Casey Wyatt and the 77 of Connor Hall. It does look like Casey's car is starting to go away a little bit as Connor dives on the inside in the Town Bank 77. 92.9 the Wave Machine on the outside.
Yeah, if you watch his car, you can see that the right side of the car just kicks out just a little bit right in the center of the corner. So the car's freeing up a little bit, and they might have just used it up that first race.
Field a whole lot more strung out than they were the first race, that's for sure. But like we said, some of these guys used up their tires in that first one.
Yeah, you can't speak about it enough how much you have to conserve these tires. I mean, people have been doing the same thing for years. Mike Buffkin was one of the best at it out here. He's conserved them tires about the last 15 laps of the race. He'd be running 10th, and here he comes, passing a car a lap, and go out and win. And he's one of the best I've seen doing it. Him and my brother Joe were two of the best I've seen at conserving tires and coming on for the win at the end of the race. But back then, we were running 100, 200 lap races. We were running these 65 lap short runs.
Right. Tire management and just being patient sometimes, but doesn't really play into the vocabulary of a racer too much.
No, very few guys behind the wheel can do that, can conserve them tires and make their car last the whole race. But there's a few of them out there that can do it, and they won a lot of races.
Dean Shiflett looks like he might be faster than the two guys ahead of him. Butterbean, who's on the inside of Casey Wyatt. Good to see Dean Shiflett back out here.
Yeah, and he has been working hard on that car, because I've seen him out here several times practicing. We was bringing James out here to practice. He was out here with that late model, same time he was out here with that U car. And he's been trying a lot. It's good to see him out here, because he is running decent now. He's got the car turning.
Greg Edwards leads Danny Edwards, Mark Wirtz, Tyler Hughes, and Connor Hall. Then a side-by-side battle continues between Casey Wyatt and Brendan Queen as Casey tries to hold on to that 6th position. Then you got Dean Shiflett, Macy Causey, and Cody Carlton. Macy in the US 106 machine. And JT Jackson takes it into the pits in the 67.
Yeah, if he was feeling ill the first race, I'm sure the second race he weren't feeling any better. So it's better to pull that thing off the track.
Tell you what, it was so good to see that car running really fast when Woody Howard got behind the wheel earlier this year and showed what that car can do.
I mean, it's a good car. It's good equipment. And, Woody got up in that thing and really took it to the front. And he says it's a good car, so maybe he'll be out here again with it.
Sure is fun to watch Woody Howard race when he comes out to Langley Speedway, and we know he's busy with his full-time job. Out there saving lives, that's what he does these days.
Yeah, no, he went from one extreme to the other, That's a car job to have.
But an honorable job, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's out there at night when we're all asleep.
31 laps completed here at Langley Speedway. Greg Edwards continues to lead, looking for another win. This would be his 6th win of the season to tie his brother Danny if he can hang on to it. Danny not letting him get too far ahead, though. They're separated by at least 6 car lengths. 97.3, the Eagle Machine, and the Danny's Glass Chevrolet of Danny Edwards, who leads in the points over his brother Greg. It's going to get down to the last race, I think, for the championship between those two. And right in front of the leader, we had a spin. Not Connor, but the 77 of Bruce Livingston spins right in front of Greg Edwards, who had to slam on the brakes to avoid contact. He and Danny Edwards had to get on the brakes. And our first caution flag on lap 33, which is going to tighten up the field. Let's go down to Buck Roos. He's got a couple of drivers that have come into the pits. Macy Causey also, they're putting an adjustment into the 33 machine, the US 106.1 rod. Danny's going to stay on the back end of the 97. Mark Wirtz, like you said, Sammy, he's going to stay to the inside.
Yeah, I think that'll benefit him a lot more, because last time he stayed on the outside, the end of that last race, he got blown by about 3 cars and had to work his way up back to third. So he doesn't want to put himself in that same position again.
So it looks like the only drivers that took the cone are the 8 of Tyler Hughes. And it looks like the Cody Carlton machine, the US 106 ride, took it, along with the 77 of Connor Hall. Connor will be to the outside of Danny, and Tyler to the outside of Greg Edwards. Tyler also looking for a win. Here we go, back to the green. Tyler got his first win early in the season here at Langley Speedway. He's battling to the outside of Danny Edwards, gets a good bite at the exit of 2 to challenge the 26, pulls halfway past the 26 for that second spot as Greg Edwards takes the lead again in the 97.3, the Eagle machine. Good battle at the exit of 2. Tyler Hughes and the 26 battled out for the second spot. Tyler just about got into the wall on the back straightaway. The back end kicked out at the exit of 2.
Yeah, he cut down on Danny a little bit. You seen Danny get on the brakes, man. Danny's a smart driver. He knew it would be a problem if he stayed in the gas.
Yeah, that could have been one big wreck. Greg Edwards leads at least 5 car lengths over the 8 of Tyler Hughes, trying to hold off the challenge of Danny Edwards for that position. In the 55 Dunkin' Donuts ride of Mark Wirtz, 77 Connor Hall, all over Connor's back bumper, Butterbean in the 03. And you got the 38 machine and Dean Shiflett hanging tough again, just ahead of Casey Wyatt, Macy Causey, and the reason we had the first caution flag, the 77 of Bruce Livingston.
Yeah, on that restart, the way Danny took off, I'm wondering if his car ain't still stumbling because he didn't get a good takeoff on that restart.
I think the word Danny used was bumbling.
Blubbering.
Or blubbering.
Yeah. Yeah,
all
but
right.
It might still be doing that same thing. And then it could just be a little teeny piece of crash and the carburetor calls that. It's something you'd never see.
They got a great race going, though. Side-by-side action between Danny Edwards and the 8 of Tyler Hughes as they battle for the second spot ahead of the 55 Dunkin' Donuts ride of Mark Wirtz. Casey Wyatt to the inside of the 38 of Cody Carlton. And look at this. 8, 26, 55, nose to tail. Tyler Hughes, Danny Edwards, and Mark Wirtz for that second spot. Danny dives underneath. Tyler Hughes again to take it away. And a spin right here, Macy Causey between 3 and 4. Second caution flag on lap 40 for Macy Causey in 33. The US 106.1 New Country car. And a spin for our second caution flag. This is going to tighten it up and give some of those drivers like the 92 a chance to use the cone.
Yeah, guys, they're going to swap the left side tires, it looks like, is what they're planning on doing. They've got 2 guns down here trying to get it going, trying to get the jack up under the car because these cars start with such a low air pressure on the left side.
Look at Buck Roos. Double duty. He's got a microphone in one hand and a flashlight in the other.
Well, it's pretty dark down here. It's a lot darker than you think it is on this side of the car, so just trying to...
Casey gets the car refired and he goes back out. Macy Causey continues to sit on pit road as they make adjustments on her machine after that spin. So whatever they did on that first adjustment for Macy didn't work too well.
Or maybe they needed to go a little bit more, you know. I'm just not sure right now.
True.
It looks like they got tightened up a little bit more for her. So she might be getting loose. She might have run the right rear off that car. You don't know.
True. All right. Well, we have Tyler Hughes. He took the cone. Looks like the 77, Connor Hall, once again, will be on the outside of Danny Edwards as we get set to go back to green. Toyota Tundra truck will come down pit road, lap 40 of 65 here at Langley Speedway on Safety Clean and Surf Rider Night at the races. We're back to green. Greg Edwards with a good start. Late models come back to life here at Langley Speedway, and the 77, Bruce Livingston, body slammed the 92 of Casey Wyatt when they went up between turns 1 and 2. And it looked like the 77 didn't turn too well.
Yeah, that won't be taken kindly, I'm sure.
Up front, though, it is the 26 of Danny Edwards trying to stay with Greg. He's got a challenge on the outside, though. And some tough racing here. 41 laps completed. Butterbean dives underneath. Mark Wirtz for that position. That's back there for 5th. And Tyler Hughes to the outside of Danny Edwards. Still hanging tough with Danny. Butterbean makes the pass on Mark Wirtz. And Dean Shiflett tries to come with him. Danny Edwards definitely not as fast as he was on that first race. And Mark Wirtz also falling back. 43 laps out of 65. Danny Edwards protecting the bottom of the racetrack in the Danny's Glass Chevrolet. Great action here at Langley Speedway in the late models. Every single race they've run this year.
Yeah, we've had a lot of cars out here this year also. It's probably the continuously biggest field of any racetrack around.
Danny Edwards, a comfortable second spot now as he makes the pass on the 8, the G2 Incorporated machine of Tyler Hughes. Casey White was able to get by Bruce Livingston and stay ahead. So is Macy Causey. 45 laps, 20 to go for Greg Edwards in the 97.3, the Eagle Chevrolet. Well, this season started out as a season where we thought it was going to be a breeze for Greg Edwards to get another championship. Then Danny Edwards, his brother, started winning races, and before you knew it, the tide changed a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it definitely changed a little bit. But, could go either way, but I mean, Danny's still fast, and he did say he had a problem with that car above her, and so we'll have to talk to him after the race and see what's going on with it.
Looks like he is a little bit faster than Greg as we watch the lap times now. Average speed for these cars, a little bit over 86 miles an hour as an average. And Danny Edwards continues to close in on his brother Greg for the lead as the laps wind down. Lap 48 of 65. Greg Edwards, Danny Edwards, Tyler Hughes, Connor Hall, and Butterbean. Brendan Queen, the top 5. Buck?
Yeah, Mark Wirtz has pulled his 55 Dunkin' Donuts machine in. Right front tire slowly leaking out air, so he got door slammed when they entered turn 1 between him and Connor Hall, and it cut the right front. So instead of taking a chance on tearing the car up, he brought it in.
That's another guy we thought would have a chance at the championship this year, Mark Wirtz in the 55, but the last few races have been dismal for the 55. The Dunkin' Donuts machine of Mark Wirtz. Still got a pretty good race between the Edwards brothers up here there, Sammy.
Yeah, Danny's closing in on him, so it's like he's not used the car as much as Greg has, and he's got a little more tire left.
Great race between the 97.3, the Eagle machine, and the Danny's Glass 26, the Edwards brothers. And if Greg can hang on to that lead, he will tie his brother Danny with the most wins, 6 for 2015. I have absolutely loved calling these races this year at Langley for the late models. It's been one of the funnest seasons I've ever had with these late model drivers, all giving us something really to talk about, not only during the race night, but the whole week after with all the tempers and the emotions and the passion they have for this sport.
Yeah, we've had more winners here just this year than we've had in the last 3 years. So speaks a lot for what these late model drivers are doing. They're all getting up on top of the wheel and getting their cars handling. Anytime you have 6 or 7 winners in the year at a local track, that's a phenomenal feat.
Speaking of getting up on the wheel, Macy Causey doing that now as the US 106 machine tries to pass the 92.9 The Wave car of Casey Wyatt. Going to be interesting to see what she does next year. You know what? After all this experience she's got this year.
Oh, yeah, she'll have all winter to test, and I'm sure they'll come out here and test over the winter, and they'll really get her some laps, and that's all she needs is seat time. You get that seat time, and you'll be a good driver.
Less than 10 laps to go for Greg Edwards. If he can hold off his brother Danny, he'll get 6 wins in 2015 and tighten up the points battle, too, between him and his brother. Macy Causey again dives underneath Casey Wyatt, trying to get that position away. They're battling for the 7th position. The battle of the radio stations, US 106.1 and 92.9 The Wave. Casey Wyatt and Macy went at it. Last race we had out here last time they raced in the second late model feature, and Macy with a top 5 finish too of that race.
Yeah, man, she's driving like a veteran out there right now. She's staying off Casey. She's not washing up into him. She's driving the corner good. I mean, she's just doing a really good job out there.
Connor Hall, the 77 to the inside of the 8 of Tyler Hughes as they have a great battle between turns 1 and 2. You don't really know which one to watch, the one between Macy and Casey or the one between the 77 of Connor and the 8 of Tyler Hughes. Great battles at both ends of the racetrack. It is lap number 60, 5 to go for Greg Edwards. Greg with about a 7 car length advantage over brother Danny Edwards.
Well, how about the job Macy Causey is doing, running side by side, lap after lap? I mean, it's like a veteran.
And she passes Casey Wyatt for that position. So those adjustments they made on Casey's ride not working the way he wanted them to, and he's getting loose, as you can see at the exit of the turns. 61 laps out of 65 completed. Connor Hall able to get by Tyler Hughes for that position. He moves up to third spot. It's Greg Edwards, Danny Edwards, Connor Hall, Tyler Hughes, and Brendan Butterbean Queen, top 5. Dean Shiflett, the 12 car in 6th, and Macy Causey, Casey Wyatt, Bruce Livingston, Mark Wirtz out of the race in 10th, then Cody Carlton, JT Jackson, and Clayton Parish. White flag about to be displayed in the windshield of Greg Edwards next time by. Final lap of the race. 97.3 the Eagle and Danny's Glass Chevrolet of Greg Edwards, and the Danny's Glass 26 of his brother Danny in second spot. For the 6th time this year in 2015, the winner, Greg Edwards. At the end of the race, we had a little contact there between Butterbean and the 8 of Tyler Hughes. They're still working on each other. They don't want to mess up those race cars, though. If you want to fight, you get out and do it the way you're supposed to, huh, Sammy?
Do it on the front stretch so everybody can watch.
Good point. 65 laps are done. And there's your winner. 97.3 the Eagle, Danny's Glass Chevrolet, Greg Edwards.
They're still going at it.
Tyler Hughes and Butterbean still fighting it out with the race cars bumping and banging off each other. Greg Edwards did what he had to do. Let's go to the Dale Emmons victory lane. Here's Buck Roos with our winner.
Well, we got some unhappy drivers on pit lane, but in Dale Emmons victory lane, we got a very happy driver and team back on the map. And Greg Edwards climbs out, folks. Back in victory lane, I tell you what, it's been a while coming. They've been fighting transmission issues, alternator issues, tore up race car that had to be completely rebuilt, and Greg definitely happy to accept a big hug from Reverend Potter down here and accept that Aquafina spring water. We're going to go around the front side of the car here, Greg, but I tell you what, man, this car in race number 2, it lit up right off the bat, man.
Well, I got to make a first thanks to Reverend Potter. We've been having so many troubles with this car since we wrecked it and changed transmissions, changed motors, you name it, shifters, trying to figure out a problem. We still got a shifting issue. Keeps wanting to come out of gear the whole first race. So we bungee corded it up the first race. It still popped out of gear. So right before the race, I asked Reverend Potter, I said, I can use a prayer right now. And he did, and thank God he answered it. I held her in gear the whole race. I drove with one hand, and it's not very comfortable driving these cars nowadays with one hand. I'm not Phil Warren, so I got to thank this crew. They're so good. They stuck behind me. We've been working on this thing. It's been frustrating at times because since we crashed this car pretty bad. It's just we've been knocking out demons. When you really hit the wall that hard, a lot of little things happen. We're getting them worked out, and thank you, Eagle 97, Danny's Glass, Mark's Graphics. Just everybody makes this thing go, especially this crew, Charlie High Race Agents, James Long. Thank him. I'm glad. I think he's been getting a little frustrated here lately, but maybe Victor Lane will get him a little happier.
There you go. Well, I got Joe McGuire for the general manager for Safety Clean over here. He's got your 6th piece of hardware on the season.